adventurers, welcome to Vlogmas Day 5. Today we're going to do some artwork. Get into that. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I am so glad that you're joining us. So if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do that right now. If you see my face in the corner, click it and you'll be subscribed to my channel so that you make sure that you don't miss any of the next adventures. Today we are going to do an acrylic pour. I've had several of you ask me, how do I do it? Are you going to do a video? And I've been kind of waiting because I guess I'll make the announcement now. I am going to be launching 2 more ChiGirl channels. One is going to be solely for art. So I'm going to be doing a lot of tutorials for acrylic pours, different kinds of acrylic painting. I'm going to be doing some jewelry making. When that's up and running, I'll make sure to let you know. Save the acrylic pouring tutorials for that channel, but since so many people want to see it now, I figured why not during Vlogmas give you what you want. So the other channel that I mentioned is going to be a kids channel, ChiGirl Kids, and it's going to be a fun channel mixed with some education. So those of you that have kids out there, or if you're a kid yourself, just you wait, ChiGirl Kids is coming. Back to what we're doing today. So with acrylic pouring, we need several different ingredients. I'm going to show you all the ingredients first before we start. Then I'm going to show you how to mix your paints, and then we'll get to the pouring. Okay, along with our ingredients, we also need some other materials. And these 3 right here are what I would consider the most important. First of all, Floetrol, which is this big gallon bucket here. This is a paint conditioner. So this is a latex-based additive. You want to make sure that you get latex-based and not oil-based when you're using acrylics. The next thing in this bottle here is water. The water and the Floetrol are both going to help the paint become really thin, and it's going to be able to move around the canvas a lot easier than if you just use paint without anything. Now, one thing I want to let you know is Floetrol is not the only additive that you can use. If you are an artist or you've been to a paint store, you'll probably see something like this. This is also another medium. This is an acrylic by Blick, and it's glossy. And you'll see it looks kind of like glue. It's the same consistency and look as the Floetrol. Floetrol is also white, which you'll see in a moment when we do some mixing. So it doesn't really matter what you use. I know some other artists use glue, like Elmer's glue. I have yet to use glue, but maybe that's something I'll try in the future. You're also going to use water, and then you need some kind of oil-based material. You can use silicone, which I have used in the past. Here's the silicone I've used. It's a 3-in-1. You can also use Rain-X. You can also use hair products that have some kind of silicone in them. I have yet to use hair products. I mainly use the 3-in-1 or the Rain-X. Today we're going to use Rain-X. You also need, for materials, some rubber gloves if you don't want your hands to get really messy. You also want to have handy paper towels because this is a very, very messy art form, and you want to be able to grab those quickly and wipe things down. I have some tongue depressors here. These are also known as craft sticks. They're just these wooden sticks, and these are used to stir paint. And then we have some cups. The cups we use to both mix the paints inside, and we also use them if you're doing a dirty pour. You use them to combine the paints. We are doing dirty pours today. There are other ways to do this technique, and I will show you in another video, but today we're doing dirty pours. All right, you'll see that I have 2 canvases ready. So this first canvas, we're going to do 2 pieces today, is an L. It's in the shape of an L, and I bought some letters so that I could decorate those. L is obviously for my last name, Luzon, and that will go somewhere in our house. And then this next canvas is just your typical white square canvas, and you'll notice it's the kind that's stretched on wood. Underneath it you'll see, and you'll see that on the L as well, I have 2 types of drying racks. Because this is a very messy type of painting and the paint drips and gets everywhere, I do have the wire rack here that the canvas will sit on as we're doing the pour, and then the paint is going to seep down on the sides and underneath, and I've started using these metal pans. I use that now to catch a lot of the paint. That's another way to keep my plastic surface cleaner, because I do reuse my plastic tarp for several different art projects. I try to make it last as long as possible before I have to replace it. For the square canvas, we are going to be using primary colors, yellow, blue, and red, along with black and white. And you'll notice I already have these in condiment bottles. I bought these off of Amazon, and they are pre-mixed, which means I've already mixed the paint colors with the Floetrol in this bottle. Then we're gonna come over to our L, and for this canvas, we are gonna use some different brighter colors. We have a purple, a couple of teals, and well, we have a teal and a turquoise, and then we have a dark blue. I'm also going to add white to this as well. I just didn't bring that over. Now, because this canvas is a different size, it's kind of small, you know, thin, it's an L, we're going to pour with these smaller little Dixie cups. So now that I've shown you all of our materials and our supplies, let's get mixing this paint so that I can show you how to do the pour. With paint mixing, I'll show you how to do it with these colors, since the primary colors are already mixed. Okay, so the first step is you get your cup. All right, I have my handy dandy gloves on, and the first thing we want to do is grab some Floetrol. For the Floetrol, we're just going to add a little bit in each cup. So if you can look inside my cup, I have them clear so you can see. There's probably just about, I don't know, a half an inch of solution at the bottom of each one, and that's all you really need. Okay, so we're putting the Floetrol in first. Then you're going to want to add your pigment. So we have an ultra deep blue. We're going to add that into it. Just going to give it a few squeezes, and if I want more, I can add more later. This one is a peacock teal, so we're going to add a few drops of peacock teal in there. Then we have Bahama blue. Gonna add a few drops of Bahama blue. This one is a metallic berry. And I just bought these. I normally get my paints from Michael's or Joann's or Blix, but I was in a pinch and I just ran over and got these from Meyer. Okay, so now that we have our pigments in, you can see it's still just the white with the pigment, and now comes our stirs. So let's see if I can do this with one hand. So you're just gonna take this and stir your Floetrol and your paint until you don't see any white and you only see the color of the actual paint. Okay, so there are 5 colors. Once again, I don't have to add Floetrol to the white because I already have Floetrol in the white. The next step we need to do is grab our water and our Rain-X. Rain-X comes in smaller bottles, but I like this one with the easy spray. All right, so for water, you're just gonna have to learn to feel this out. I just kind of give a few douses in there, a few squeezes, and then I test it out by stirring it, and if it's thin enough, if it's the consistency that I like, then I stop. And if it's not, then I add more. All right, next comes the Rain-X. So we did Floetrol, paint, water, and now Rain-X. I'm just gonna do some random spritzes in each cup. I tend to not like to have my amount of Rain-X in each cup be the same, because I feel like it allows for a lot more variation when the chemical makeup of each color is slightly different. So I'm just gonna randomly spray some amounts of Rain-X in my cup. And stir. Now Rain-X does have kind of a smell. If you have allergies or if you're sensitive, you might want to wear a mask. So because this is a smaller surface on this canvas, I've decided to use these tiny cups as pour cups so that when I pour them, they can just sit nicely on the canvas like that, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. So I'm going to just add some color to these cups in any way that I feel. Just please be aware that whatever you pour in first will be the color that's on top. Now they will mix, but just keep that in mind. And the last color you use will be the color that's on the bottom. All right, here are our 4 cups that we mixed, and there is our L. So for my first pour, I have the canvas on top of the cup, and I'm just gonna flip it like that. So once you flipped it, you can see that the paint does want to come out a little bit, but it'll pretty much stay under the cup. Now for the other ones, I can't do that because now that I have one paint-filled cup turned over, I can't keep flipping it back and forth to accommodate the other 3. So the first thing we'll do, and this is my favorite part, is we'll pull the first cup up and then we'll start to add the other paints as we do that. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and there it went. And do you see how much paint we lose on the ends? But don't worry, I'm going to show you what to do with that in a second. So here's our first pour cup. I keep it to the side because there's some paint in the bottom that we can use too. All right, and then now for this, we're just going to have to do a quick 1, 2, 3 like this for the other ones. Put the cups to the side, and there's our pour. So it is fluid now, the whole concept of fluid art. So we're gonna move the paint around. This is why you want the gloves, and you do want it to pour off the sides like that. We want to do that as much as possible. Now what you're gonna do is take some of these leftover pours down here, this paint, and you can start to scoop it up with your stick and just add it to wherever didn't get covered. You can use a plastic spoon. What you want to try to do is not mix the colors together because all of these swirls and patterns, we want to try to keep that. Scoop and pour. But anyway, there's our L. I can't wait to see it when it's finished. The reason I say that is because one thing you'll learn with your pours, if you continue to do this on your own, is that they change. So if I were to say, oh yeah, look at my finished product, in a few hours, it might look a little bit different. For instance, some of this paint right here, that might gradually drip off. So where we have a lot of the berry color there, it might end up changing to less berry and more green as the paint moves. I'm just gonna keep this piece right here and we'll come back to it in a little bit and see what it's doing. Now we're gonna move on to our primary color one. All right, so I've already mixed our colors here. We have white, yellow, blue, red, and black. Okay, here are our pour cups. I have 2 purple solo cups. And there is what our mixture looks like before. Really cool. Look at that. I love how the cells just develop even before you pour it out of the cup. You can see some of the color changes. I only use primary colors, but we already have some green and some orange in there. So we obviously know that the colors have mixed a little bit, but not all the way like you would think that they would. All right. So I'm gonna take my first cup, and just like we did before, I'm gonna set my canvas on the top and hold it there while I take my other hand and flip it. Because this cup is kind of clear, we can see all the paint rush to the bottom. So I'm just gonna let that sit for a second. And I'm even going to glide it over, which you can, and move it there so that I can get ready for my next one. Now, what I'll do first is lift this cup here, and then I'm going to pour the other cup off to the side. Let's do it. On the count of 3, 1, 2, and 3. Oh, look at all that red. Now we're going to go to pour number 2. Ready? Ooh, and those colors are so different. Look at that. Oh my God, I love it. I'm going to scoot this guy over a bit because I don't want him to go onto the plastic as much as I can help it. All right, so up close, let's get a look close up of this. We have two very different color schemes here. Same colors. I used the same exact paints, but do you see how when we combine the colors in different orders, they make different color combinations? And then we still have the paint dripping down below, which we'll probably use in a second. Let me get my gloves on and we'll start to manipulate this a little bit. I'm gonna tilt it a little bit this way, and then I'm gonna tilt it that way. And keep it going, keep it going. Oh, now we're gonna go off to the right here. And then we're gonna go off to the left. And I'm really, really, really gonna let it take it all the way to the corner. And then I'm popping it back. All right, I'm gonna leave it like that. And I'm going to, first of all, before I do paint from the bottom of the bin, gonna look in my cup. Oh yeah, I still have a lot of awesome colors. So I'm just gonna drizzle that on over. And you can put that at any spot that you want. So I'm gonna do this corner in the back over here. All right, and then we wait. We let this dry and we wait. I love this piece, I love it. All right, let's get a close-up of this beauty. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this. It's so interesting how it looks like we have some lime greens and almost like peacock looking like colors here, even though we just used yellow, white, blue, red, and black. That's all we use. Look at the marbling. This is what you want to see in a successful acrylic pour. All those cells that you're seeing, those are made with the silicone or the Rain-X. But man, is that a gorgeous piece. Adventurers, check this out. From some of the leftover paint that I had from this painting, I did two more really small pours. They're 5x7 canvases. And look how cool this turned out. And I'm serious, like this one hardly had any yellow here, and just as it's dripping and moving, more yellow is coming out. I love it. And look at this one. Literally, I used primary colors, and do you see those beautiful purples and pinks and teals and all of that? Like, oh my gosh, isn't that just gorgeous? Oh, I love it. And this guy has most of the primary colors intact. And the only difference is I poured this one with mostly white and a little bit of black, and I poured this one with mostly black and a little bit of white. And so the difference between the dark and the light is kind of what changed these colors. I love it. And there you have it. Now you too can go off, buy your materials, and do some acrylic pouring on your own. And if you do decide to try this technique, will you do me a favor and either join me on Facebook or join me on Instagram and send me some pictures. I would love to see your artwork and see how it develops. And if you have any things that you try that you think that I might be interested in knowing about or learning, you can comment on this video or you can comment on Facebook or Instagram. So once again, thank you for joining me for Vlogmas Day 5. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please don't forget to do that before this ends. At the very end of this video, you'll see my face and you can click on that. There's also some other videos for you to watch. I'm so excited to have you joining me, and for those of you that have been adventurers, I so appreciate you. I'm so glad that we're able to see each other every day during this holiday season, and I look forward to seeing you on Vlogmas Day 6. Bye!